Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is November 23rd, 2020. This week, of course, Thanksgiving week here in the United States. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so many excuses to buy things. Although probably won't actually be participating too much this year. Just not a whole heck of a lot, but, I can't even say need, because, come on, let's all be honest about needing model stuff, but don't really have anything I want right now. There's a few little outlier, expensive alpha, zoom on, things like that, but nothing really snatching my interest and dragging me down, so to speak. So we will proceed with caution, I guess. So we have this, in this episode, we have a couple of more sort of reissue announcements from Nunu. A placement for Nunu, because a kit that we've talked about in the past but is now officially coming, if you will. And then we have the January spot runs from Aoshima, which is quite a bit here. So grab your adult beverage of choice, because this is going to take a half a second. So let's go through those first. Again, these are nothing new about any of these. These are just restocks. So 72 Nissan Laurel 2000 HT hardtop SGX, 73 Nissan Skyline GTR, 2016 Toyota 86 GT, 2015 Toyota Crown. This is the one that has the Royal Athlete conversion, so you can build either one. 78 Nissan Gloria Cedric Brougham, again, build either one. 88 Toyota Mark II Grande, 84 Toyota Truno, E86 GT Apex, a reissue of the 69 MGB, reissue of the 74 MGB, reissue of the 83 Nissan Skyline R30 Aero, reissue of the 91 Nissan SEMA, reissue of the 2010 Toyota Hiace, and then going into more of the tune model car, we have the reissue of the 1991 Nissan S13 Silvia Rasti, reissue of the 98 Toyota Chaser Toro 5 Vertex, reissue of the 1991 S13 Silvia Vertex, reissue of the 1999 S15 Silvia Top Secret, reissue of the 2007 Ings Subaru Impreza WRX, and reissue of the 2002 Copen Pandora Evo 2. And then in the specialty lines, if you will, Liberty Walk, the Liberty Walk Liberty Works Laurel, the Liberty Walk Liberty Works GTR V2, which is the 2017 upgrade kit with the white car on the box art, and then the Liberty Walk Liberty Works GTR version 2 Type 2, which is basically the same kit, but the one with the Advan livery inside. On the supercar, reissue of the 74 Countach, reissue of the 85 Countach, 5000 Quattro fuel injection, and a reissue of the 2012 Pangani. Over in the wheel department, 17-inch BBS RG, 17-inch BBS RS2, 18-inch BBS DTMs, 17-inch Watanabes, 17-inch Workmeister S1s, 17-inch Kiwami Emotion CRs, 17-inch Graham Light 57 Extremes, and 17-inch full TE37 RTs. So I think those are the ones that are pre-molded in red. And then a reissue of the Brian James trailer, which I think was supposed to get reissued last month, but it never showed up in any stock that I saw. So I guess it must have sold out so fast that I didn't even notice it came in, and it needs to be reissued again. So, there's that. Over on the Nunu, a couple of just modified reissues with the window mask things. This is sort of like we mentioned last week with the 935 Crummer 3. They had the sort of Japanese-only market version of that has the Decal-Cost decal, or window mask, rather, included in them. So this is the same principle, and it's going to be done in the future, because we really don't know what months these are going to end up coming out in for real. But one for the 1986 Rally San Remo version of the Lancia Delta Super Delta S4, and the 1986 Hockenheim version of the Volvo 240 touring car. So if you're looking for one of those but never really cared for the whole decals for the window black thing and didn't want to pay separately for the window mask, even though technically you're still paying separately for the window mask, there are those kits coming. And then, as we mentioned, there is this kit, which we've known about, which is now officially on its way, which is this 1989 24 Hours of Spa version of their which was BMAX released the last time we saw it, the Toyota Corolla 11 AE92 Group A car. So obviously a new set of decals here should be the first obvious change because it doesn't have a Minolta livery. We got a picture of the built production shot here to sort of give you a little bit of a here's what's different kind of things. Obviously, the big thing here is the big the spotlights on the front bumper for the 24-hour part of the race. Those were not in the kit previously. And also, something that may be a little more subtle if you're not really looking for it are the little lights that surround the number placards. There's 6 of them in total. One shines on the number, one shines down over the sponsor logo. And obviously, again, back in 1989, we didn't have the luminescent number boards that they use in GT3 racing at this point, or well, any kind of endurance racing. And so the way you did this was you sort of bolted on a couple of lights. A lot of the 70s and 80s 24-hour cars should have lights like these if they don't already. And it's nice to see them include that. It's a nice little touch, something that you may not think about if you're not really, heavily into racing in general or endurance racing in particular. But other than that, the livery is similar to a livery that ran in JTCC. It doesn't appear from the decals that they're going to give you that option, so it'll be interesting to see if somebody picks up on that, because it'll be a very simple conversion. Basically, you just have to take a couple of sponsors off, put a couple of sponsors on, change the driver lineup slightly, and then the number boards are obviously the biggest difference. So we shall see what comes of that in the future. That is tentatively scheduled for January. Now, we've talked about in the past, we have a number of these. We've known about them, but they're being placed kits, but there was no corresponding sort of pre-order for them in Hong Kong, so that has changed this week. The 84 Porsche 911 SCRS Oman Rally car is now scheduled for February. Now, mind you, these dates are going to change, but they're scheduled for February. That A92 is scheduled for January. The Audi Quattro S1, the non-Evo winged crazy thing that's being done for the Olympus Rally at the very end of the 1986 season, but actually will also fit for most of the deliveries from 1984 and 1985 before the crazy Evo version came out. That's also scheduled for January. And at this point, pretty much everything that we're waiting on has been pushed into December at this juncture, early to mid to late. If they were to actually release everything they need to get them out this year, they would have to release 6 model kits before Christmas. And one of those would be significantly modified, a couple of decal reissues. I'm trying to think if there's any new tools in any of that. Oh, the M8. The M8's the big new tool that would be involved in all that, because you would have the Macau Audi 2-in-1. You'd have the McLaren MP24C, which is about 80% new. You'd have the M8, which is a brand new kit. You'd have the FINA Tour de France, Tour de Horse rally car. That's just a set of decals, and I think there's one or two new very subtle pieces to that make that specific car. I'm trying to think what else is in that pile that has not been seen as of yet. It'll come to me in a second as I flip backwards to talk about the kits that have come out this week. But there are, like I said, 6 total in, and I was at 5. So there's something there that I'm forgetting, and we'll come across it here. Let's talk about no domestic kit releases this week, only overseas, and they are all Japanese releases. One of these has probably been out if you wanted to go and dig around and look for it, but it's officially out in Japan now, so worldwide distribution has been achieved, and that is this. It is the Tamiya reissue of the Lotus Super 7 Series 2 with the new metal air funnels and photo etch pieces. So picture this box art in your mind. The box art is pretty much identical to the original 1980s box art, but it has that little blurb down there by the Tamiya logo telling you that it has the PE things in it. That is the difference between these two kits in terms of getting an original one and getting one of these freshly reissued ones. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here we talked about in the past. Paper seat belts, and the PE set, and the metal intakes, and new decals. They've expanded the decals for the racing version of this. This has always been a 2-in-1 kit where you can build sort of this street version, or you could build one with 2 little mini half windshields and like a big, I think it's supposed to be a speedometer, it might be a tack, in the middle of the dashboard, not use the spare tire carrier, as it gets a roll hoop behind the driver, and it turns into like a club racing version. That, like I said, that's always been in there. I literally just checked my original one before I started making this, so there's nothing different about that. But they've expanded the round rules, and it's not just one specific car. It's like 2 or 3 choices now. So that's back out there again for people who are interested in it. I think it will be, it's a nice little refresh. It does get a new kit number, so that's the other thing to look for. It's got a 24340 number rather than being I think it's a sub 124 number on the original one. But yeah, for people who have been like trying to find one of those, because they're kind of expensive, really, they haven't been out in forever. Yeah, that would be out, and I'm stalling for time because in the background I'm trying to load the Hong Kong sheet. The Group A BMW M3 1988 24 hours of spa winner. That's the 6th kit that's missing out of that. And like I said, right now, as it stands, so I have this up here and I'm talking to you. Let's talk about it in real time. This distribution list is saying that we should see, let me see here, that's nothing on that page, so we're all on this 2nd and 3rd page now. So we're looking at a 12.6 release for the Celica Tour de Course. Also looking for a 12.6 release on the 86 Portuguese Grand Prix McLaren, and then a 12.18 release for the M3 and the Audi R8, and then a 12.20 release for the BMW M8 GTE. Now, when I say those release dates, you should, of course, immediately ball them up into a very compact spit wad and deposit them into your nearest recycling center, because obviously those dates aren't real. They haven't been, some of those kits have been sliding for months now. So we'll see when they actually get released. The easiest thing to be released out of this list of things are the Audi, the M3, and the Celica, because they are basically, for all intents and purposes, just decals. There's external driving lights in the M3 for the 24 hours thing, much like the 11 we just talked about. And I think there's one or two new specific pieces to the 91 Tour de Course Celica, but all of those kits should be easily done, and the Audi is literally just decals. There's nothing new about that at all. So I don't know. We will see how that plays out. So anyway, back to the kit releases here. We have one Hasegawa reissued for this week, and actually this is technically one of the new kits. It is the Lamborghini Jota SVR with an Italian girls figure. Yes, yes. Let's all cheer towards the direction of Arizona and BG's model workshop. Resin Girl, all the things. Yes. This young lady in her preposterously short skirt, looks like she's wearing a bath towel, frankly, is stuck in this position where she's sort of basically looking at you, wondering why in the world we're taking this oddball car out for a spin. Clearly, her naughty bits are not going to be covered if she sits down. Jota is what it is. The original Jota was destroyed in an accident. This model is based off of the recreation of the Jota. There are some other Jota kits that exist out there, but they're based off of recreations of the recreations, if that makes sense. They're basically based off tribute cars or kit cars. This one is least legitimately built off the car that Lamborghini sort of kind of recreated, but the original Jota is, like I said, it evaporated into a guardrail or a tree. I can't remember which one of it is, but the end story is death of car no longer exists. And so this is, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's not a bad kit by any means. It's basically just a Mirio with some extra bits and pieces added to it. But yeah, it's out there for anybody who's definitely collecting all the Resin Girls. And then we go over to Aoshima for a few things here. Straight up reissue of the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce, Super Veloce, Super Ventura, Super Duper. I'm not going to even, I don't want to get accused of mispronouncing things again. But that's back out there. Then this reissue of the Skyline Super Silhouette, the Japanese version of the Group 5 Skyline. And this has a very large piece of PE added to it. And it's very hard to get pictures of what the PE does. It's very hard to get a picture of the PE. So we're all going to sit here and use our big old fat imaginations. And as I tell you, basically the entire rear wing structure is now PE. The entire front splitter is basically PE. The entire rear end of the suspension and under tray is more or less PE. It certainly upgrades a lot of the clunky 1980-ness of this, the way the 9 Hours of Kilami car did. But it is still based on, obviously, the 1980s tooling. It's cool. It's at least the box art is significantly different from the non-special release version of this, so you won't get them confused. It has a sort of cartoon version of the car rather than a real one. But, it is certainly not for the faint of heart or those who fear PE, because you're going to be bending a lot of things to get to use it all. Obviously, the total use of it is up to you. There is obviously interior pieces and seat belts and that whole 9 yards as well, but some of the big external things are the wing and the under tray, the rear diffuser, the front splitter are all PE now, which certainly either adds, like the rear diffuser, that adds the center vane that's always been missing off of the rear diffuser, and for the front, it obviously takes that big clunky 1980s molded in place front lip, if you will, and replaces it with P to make it a little more in scale. And then last but not least for this video is this reissue of the Range Rover in its off-road options boxing. So this boxing in particular hasn't been out since the mid-1990s when this kit was tooled up. The Range Rover was done in 93. This came out in 94. There was a point in time where Revell of Germany did borrow this tooling, or at least A-Ocean produced a bunch of kits that Revell reboxed that came out, in the mid, I think it's the late 1990s, might have been the early 2000s. There's conflicting dates on the boxing from what I've seen, or maybe there was two of them, and they came out 5 years apart. But be that as it may, the actual one like this there's 3 sets of wheels in here. It has the factory stock wheels, these sort of painted centerline style wheels, and there's another set of option wheels in here as well. It comes with the bigger dueler off-road tires, the big bull rack on the front, the roof rack on the roof derp, obviously. There's a ladder for the back. It comes with these running boards and all this other stuff. So there's quite a bit in this kit as far as the option parts go. Think of it like the Montero Sport option, or the Land Rover, or not the Land Rover, but the Land Crusher, the Land Cruiser sports option, the Toyota Tamiya kit, things of that nature. There's also like there was a off-road version of the Montero Pajero that they did, and things like that. There's been a bunch of these overall, but this is the first time that these parts have been back out to the general public in something like 26 years now. So that is somewhat exciting if you were collecting the Range Rovers. The Range is kind of funny because the Range Rover is one of the most in-demand kits, especially after that Brian James trailer came out 5-6 years ago, where it was like, you're giving us this British trailer and you have a British SUV to tow it with, but why won't you release it? Obviously licensing was a big part of that, and also, as it turned out, we found out that the glass runner had to be completely retooled because there was the glass had always sort of been hinky with that kit, very easily shattered and broke when you tried to assemble the model. And so they went ahead and retooled an entirely new glass runner for it to prevent that from happening, which was a nice addition. And so now you've had the original Land Cruiser, Range Rover rather, kit came out a little while ago, and now this one's out for your British SUV needs. So with that coming out, I imagine I'm probably going to sell one of my Range Rover kits, because I don't need 3 of the same ones anymore. I might sell my original one because it's molded in color and it's original and all that kind of thing. But I never build all 3 of them to begin with. I got a couple extra ones because Dial-X Productions, Resin Company out of the Ukraine, has a couple of conversion kits for it. One turns it into Brookwoods, the other one updates it to like a 95 with a airbag steering wheel and a left-hand drive and things like that. So, but I don't need an third original for that, I don't think. And because this sports option one will sort of serve the purpose of being the original Land Cruiser. So, we'll see. Stay tuned. I think there's going to be a sale video here pretty soon. I got a bunch of stuff I want to get departed out of the premises here, and a lot of duplicates of things I don't need. And I've tried posting a few things on Instagram, and people have liked them, but nobody has bought anything. So we need to expand to a wider audience, I think. Anyway, guys, hope you had a great Thanksgiving, or hope you're going to have a great Thanksgiving. I'm working Friday this week, so it's like I get like that weird day off and then the weekend. So hopefully a lot of you guys get to just sort of chill and hang out, because who really wants that Thursday day off? Then you got to work on Friday. Oh. First world problems, and I know there's a lot of people out there would just like me to shut up and be happy I have a job. So I will, and we'll see you guys on the other side.